For next time, you know.
And we outside tonight, man. Welcome back to AWJJ with your host, yours truly. And we got a little bit different scenery for you guys if you're checking in, whether it's through YouTube, Spotify. Happy to be here. Got a nice little episode that's packed with a lot of power.
Welcome to Fresh Fridays.
You know, Fresh Fridays, it is what it is. Beautiful night out here in Atlanta. Let's get into it. You got anything you want to say, Fresh, before we really start digging into it?
Chores have been completed.
Workouts consistency.
Broom's been brought out. But the chores are done.
Okay, so you're over here making jokes about the Lakers is what I'm hearing. See, let me tell you, everybody who's listening, everybody who's checking in, let me tell you something. I'm a big Lakers guy, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to be a realist as well. I'm going to call a spade a spade. We got swept. Certain things that we could do better. I mean, I want to get on here and say Bron shouldn't be taking that many threes in the fourth quarter. But there are certain things that we as a Lakers organization, I mean, let's be honest, we shouldn't have even been in the Western Conference Final, bro. How do you make a team after the trade deadline to gel that well? So it's like, as a Lakers fan, I mean, we got swept. It is what it is. You know, let's keep building, and that's a good segue into this. You know, one thing I was realizing, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, I think a lot of people as a fan, as a fan base, would rather see a team win now than build a dynasty team and create something like the Warriors. What's your viewpoint on that?
I think success is long term, and success is outside of yourself. So when you build for the long term, you eventually reap the fruits of those labors that you put in.
Okay.
But I think with somebody like Bron, that's at the tail end of his career. It can seem like he's rushing at points, but he has to move like that right now.
Bron's play style is actually a good thing that you can break into, because I think he's most dominant. Although he's 38, I think he's most dominant when he's penetrating the paint and going straight in for a layup. And if you don't cut LeBron off, he's going straight to the hoop. When he gets tired, he starts taking these jump shots, which brings up the key stat of being 1 for 19 in the fourth quarter against the Nuggets in the first two games, because he wasn't sticking to the consistency of his game, or because Darvin Ham was just playing him too long.
It's the cardio, being hurt, not playing.
But is age starting to affect him? That's the question.
I think it's the cardio, because when he was on a run to get the scoring title, there was nothing that was stopping him.
So is that cardio, or is that like a mindset thing?
It could be a little bit of both, but taking the injury that he took earlier in the season and then later on in the season, and then having to ramp up intensity for the playoffs, definitely affected him and AD, especially with AD playing through other things like last year that would have been injuries, little nicks and knacks that AD's learning to play through, which I think he deserves a lot of credit for.
I feel that. The Lakers, I mean, it is what it is. We lose 4-0. We get swept to the Nuggets. Let's talk about the Nuggets. I mean, their head coach, Michael Malone? I'm not quite sure. Mike Malone. I was just listening to Scott Van Pelt interview him on ESPN, and he was just talking about how he knew since December 8th that they were going to be a championship team when Jamal Murray hit a step-back three to win a game. And he was just talking about how he has no social media, doesn't listen to any of the negativity, just comes in and celebrates the wins, but knows what's still in hand. Because Scott Van Pelt was like, hey, Kobe Bryant came out and said job's not finished when they won the Western Conference Finals. I think it was back in the early 2000s with the Lakers. And Scott Van Pelt was like, hey, man, do you enjoy, what do you do? Are you going to enjoy this moment, or do you know that, since we are, we haven't won the NBA Finals.
Or been to one,
the job's not finished. And he came out and said, he's like, my father was a coach in high school, college, all the way up to the pros, the entire ladder, and was like, in dynasty teams like this, or in teams that you feel like could be championship teams, you got to celebrate their wins. And I think that as a former player, I think that's a good idea. But I guess my only thing is, how do you know when you're celebrating too much? How do you know when to dial it back in?
It takes experience.
Okay.
So this is Denver's first time, and if they feel like they're celebrating too much, it could be detrimental to them. But at the same time, I think part of the reason why they're celebrating is part of the reason why the Warriors celebrated last year. They've been through major key injuries and bounced back from them, while keeping their star player getting better while playing with other talent that wasn't
Coming
Jamal
off the
Moore and
bench.
Michael Porter Jr. and still keeping the team up there and winning 2 MVPs in a row. So it's like a culmination of Jokic's supporting cast, main supporting roles, and Michael Porter Jr. and Murray coming back and helping him win.
I think Murray's a good centerpiece. Like,
He's a
I
great
understand
centerpiece.
Jokic is definitely by far the MVP. But
not just the MVP, but I think what says even more about what's going on is that the bubble wasn't a fluke.
exactly.
So people like me,
especially when you look at the last 4 teams that are still in the
people
playoffs.
that like me that calls the Lakers ring a plastic bubble ring, I'm wrong. I admit that, because Heat.
That's big for you.
The Nugget. Oh, that's huge for me because
That's
the
big for
Heat.
you must
The
be a
Heat,
Bron
the
fan.
Nuggets, the Heat, the Nuggets, and the Lakers were all there with the same core pieces in the same position that they were. Only one thing changed is that, and it's with the Celtics too, the exact same 4 teams. The only one thing that changed is that the Nuggets ended up beating the Lakers, and
I think the Nuggets matched up better with the Lakers too, because
they're
when
bigger.
you look back in that bubble game, or you look back in that bubble series, the Lakers had Dwight Howard, which is a big physical center, and I think that's Jokic doesn't really have any weaknesses at all. But I think some of the few things that can contain him is you've got somebody who's a
just like
very
Shaq.
rough defensive player.
It's just
or
another
strong.
big body, which is why they tried to get back Biyombo when he just wasn't ready to go. They really needed that because AD needs his rest.
Exactly, every time. But it's like if you go out, even when I think Darvin Ham brought Tristan Thompson in like the second quarter in Game 4, and they were still like, he was playing good minutes. He was showcasing good talent because he's a big body. He's consistently known to get rebounds, back to the rim.
One game too late.
Or do you just go out and get a Dwight Howard? Or
I mean, now that Jokic is this
another
dominant,
DeMarcus Cousins.
now that Jokic is this dominant, Embiid is this dominant, Giannis is this dominant, AD is this dominant, teams have to prepare. Golden State learned a lesson hard.
You think Golden State beats the Nuggets?
No.
You think they match up better than the Lakers?
No.
Really?
They might lose 5-1. But
Which is pretty much 4-0, honestly.
They still lose. It's a gentleman's sweep. They still lose. I knew that the Nuggets were going to the Western Conference Finals when I seen them beat the Timberwolves, who had they were top 5 in defense, which Lakers was number 1. They were top 5 in defense, longer than the Lakers were. The Lakers did it at the end of the year. Timberwolves been there all year. And they lost one of their top defensive pieces, and the guy who punched the wall. We got to do our homework better. Can't remember who he is, but the guy who punched the wall, they lost him, but they still had Rudy Gobert, and they still had a good top defense. And Anthony Edwards was going off on Denver, and they still managed to beat them in 5 games. They still managed to beat the Timberwolves in 5 games. And then when Jokic dropped 53 points in Phoenix in a loss, I knew he was hungry. They were dangerous at that point. They were extremely dangerous.
What do you think? What do you think of Jokic's 2 big brothers who are always consistently?
I love his 2 big brothers. I love them. They heighten up the sport. It's what the sport needs.
Did you know the oldest one was a professional in Europe?
No, it's what the sport needs.
You know, Nikolai Jokic is actually the youngest out of all the 3 brothers.
That's what's up.
And they've had consistent beef with play. Like they got the beef with
Marquise
the Morris brothers.
yes, which is why everybody. Which is if the Heat makes it to the finals, which they most likely will, it makes it a little bit more spicy.
Let's go ahead and type into the Heat right quick, man. Speaking of the Heat, Jimmy Butler showcasing why he's that guy.
Stop disrespecting him, man. His name is Hemi Butler.
Hemi Butler is explaining why he is that guy. But so is Eric Spoelstra, pretty much putting on a showcase for why he should be considered
why it's a
best,
travesty,
if not the best coach in the year.
Why it's a travesty that he hasn't won a Coach of the Year yet.
He's putting on a masterclass performance
once again.
And
3-4 years in a row.
But it's getting kind of scary though. You go up 3-0, but now Boston's got 2 wins.
It's extremely scary. He's dealing with injuries to Tyler Hero. And,
but Tyler Hero's been out for a while though.
Yeah, even though Tyler Hero's been out for a while, he's a key piece.
He is,
and so
especially
Victor and then losing Victor Oladipo and then catching the injury to Kevin Love's ankle. I think if I'm a free agent in the NBA and I don't go to Miami, I'm a fool. And they have max salary. They've been preparing to sign a max free agent for the last 2 years now. They tried to get KD. They tried to get Jaylen Brown. They tried to get Lillard. which it might look like my Lillard or Bradley Beal might end up in a trade to go to Miami. Because right now Miami's the hot place where you can go get maxed out, live a good lifestyle,
enjoy it,
and
retirement
compete.
style.
Not even just retirement style.
Eastern Conference, you could
dynasty style.
You could low key. Wow.
Butler is showing that Butler is showing that he can do for you what Bron did for Wade and Bosh.
Be the Golden State of the East.
Be the Heat of the Heat. That was that Heat that
Back
went to
in
4 straight finals.
First though, back in 06 with Shaq, and then when it came to
with Shaq and D Wade, but they ain't go to 4
2012.
straight. I think what Hemi Butler got going on is a little bit more hyped up than what Wade and Shaq had going on.
You know they say Hemi Butler looks just like MJ.
I know.
Michael Jordan. You think that's his son?
I think it is deep down.
Are you serious?
I ain't gonna lie.
Are you serious?
They say first do you believe in folklore and fairy tale? And that one I do.
You really think that's his son?
Yep, that motherfuckers people already done added up the fact that Jordan was in Houston around that time. People connecting the dots. This 2023. People doing their research.
But you got hella conspiracists out there.
They say
too.
he really got a long lost son out here. I know he got a couple. I already know one came for.
They also say MJ fighting air and Magic Johnson fighting air, looking at LeBron James' sons coming in, carrying the legacy.
What you mean fighting air?
Because you got Magic Johnson's son, who.
I got the best comeback for that. None of Michael Jordan's sons playing, but guess who's coming up in the ranks right now?
Who?
His nephew.
He's got a nephew that's coming up?
That's cold.
How old is his nephew?
He's in high school.
What?
Averaging 20-something points a game.
What's his name?
Something Jordan.
His nephew?
Yes.
MJ's nephew is supposed to be
going
saucy?
ham, and MJ be sitting up in the bleachers at the top where nobody noticing because nobody
He's sitting
knows
up in the
about
bleachers
him.
more than he said at the Charlotte Bobcat games.
Yes, for his nephew. His nephew got the gene, and Jordan's at every game.
Does the nephew have any type of D1 looks?
I'm not sure. I didn't go that deep. I
What's
didn't
his
do the
name?
homework.
What's his name?
Something Jordan.
We need to have somebody on the side of the cast that can look up
Something
stuff for
Jordan.
us.
Yeah, we do. Something Jordan.
What's his name? Let me. Got a phone with it.
Type in Michael Jordan's nephew's gonna come right up, bro. He's finally starting to make noise. Only because Jordan started to go to the games, bro.
You think Jordan's training him on the side?
I hope he
Justin
is.
Jordan?
Probably. Ooh, JJ.
AWJJ. Hey, Justin Jordan, you listen to this? Got to get you on the cast. Got to get you on the cast, man. 17.5 points per game as of May 9th, 2023. Let me see if he's getting recruited. Justin Jordan. Okay. That's what's up, bro. Justin's a good name. Justin's a great name.
And then it's with the last name Jordan, so it's a JJ. It's a double JJ.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I just heard about him, bro. I was
Okay.
shocked, too.
Everybody tuning in, make sure you do your homework, especially if you're a basketball fanatic or you're just trying to get into the game. This is almost like, you know what? Let me take a quick side piece to the NFL. This is almost like Barry Sanders Jr. coming out with a high school football highlight tape. Like his highlight tape that he sends out to college. I think when you look at football highlight tapes, I had this discussion on another podcast. One of my homeboys, the D Mosley Official Podcast, had this discussion. We basically said, if you think about it, he's really stupid.
Stupid as far as fire?
Yes. Like in all honesty, I think his highlight tape, when you look at the best highlight tapes as far as all throughout football, in relation to high school, there's 2 tapes that they say might be the hardest. That's Reuben Foster, who played linebacker, and then Barry Sanders Jr. at running back. Also, another side note, probably another highlight tape that's also crazy since we on highlight tapes. Cody Paul, 12-year-old white dude, 12-year-old white boy. His highlight tape is consistently considered one of the all-time greats. Yes. So check out Justin Jordan. We went on a deep rabbit hole on highlight tapes. Make sure you check out Justin Jordan. See if he's really like that. Do your own
MJ's
homework.
nephew.
Do your own homework, bro. Do your own homework. So right now, with the outlook on the NBA playoffs, who you think you got winning the NBA Finals?
The Denver Nuggets.
You think they're beating Miami if Miami makes
They're
it?
beating Miami or Boston. They beat Miami in 5. They beat Boston in 6.
You think so?
And if Boston slip up like they do against other teams and lose home games, they beat Boston in 5 too.
5?
5. If Boston goes down 3-0 to Denver, they might get swept.
Why do you think Boston consistently going down 3-0?
Not 3-0. They consistently lose home games because they don't run system plays. They play hero ball. It's just everybody's talented, so they're good at it. The reason why they're down against the Heat is because Jaylen Brown's percentage is down. They didn't focus on slowing down Tatum. They focused on slowing down Jaylen Brown.
Because you think he's a true centerpiece.
He is a true centerpiece. He's the second piece.
What do you think of Jason Tatum only coming in the fourth quarter recently? Well, actually, Richard Jefferson actually came out and did a quick stat on MVP caliber players, or basically high caliber players for their teams, whether it was James Harden, Joel Embiid, and
Jimmy Butler.
But Hemi Butler wasn't on the list. On this list, he basically targeted certain high caliber players that were not producing in the fourth quarter. Joel Embiid was on the list. Clay was on the list. Guys like that. Jason Tatum was on the list. But we saw, was that against Miami or was that against?
We saw Jason Tatum drop 51 points against Philly.
I'm saying, but craziness. So it's like when you look at a team like Boston.
And in the game before that, he came back in the fourth quarter. He was dudding the whole game, and it was fourth quarter Tatum. Why is he on the list?
But like, why are you consistently going down 2-0, 3-0?
They have a problem playing at home.
You think it's a head coaching problem?
Nope, I think it's a lack of the players to connect to the Boston crowd.
Maybe it's just a classic problem that you might have to encounter when you go through a season. Something you just got to deal with. Just like injuries.
I don't think so. It's something with this core and the way they feel about the crowd and living in Boston. They don't feed off of their crowd the way everybody else does.
Who do you think is the best team that feeds off their crowd? Memphis.
The Warriors, Memphis. Lakers have a pretty good home crowd.
Do.
Warriors, Lakers, Memphis.
Mavs could. They could. They used to.
Denver's crowd's pretty weak for how good their team is.
Sacramento.
I'm embarrassed with the Denver crowd. You Denver fans should be embarrassed. Y'all should be way louder at home.
You gonna have them mad.
Let them be mad. Y'all should be supporting this team.
Especially with
nobody should be able to play in y'all arena. Y'all fans is not y'all fans. The players is the reason y'all is the way y'all is right now.
Getting publicity.
Yes, y'all could be way better at home. Support your crowd, and you know that the air is thin up there, so y'all need to scream to make your opponents even matter. Take full court advantage over the advantage that y'all have. Y'all could do better.
The 12
because I felt like y'all could have been louder in games 1 and 2. Y'all tripping, straight up.
Sound like that came from the core.
It did. I'm like, what? They should be blowing them out.
So if you was a Nuggets fan, you going crazy right now,
bro? What?
Just like Atlanta did when y'all went to the Super Bowl.
Bro, I'm just like DeMar DeRozan daughter. I'm screaming when people shooting free throws on the opposing team. You ain't scoring. It's Denver. The air thin. You tired? I know you tired. I'm pretending like I'm jogging in the stand. If I'm a Denver fan, this is my new chant. Yeah, you tired? I know you are. Welcome to Mile High. Hit the dispensary and come play the game.
It's a mindset, a culture. You basically just define an entire culture that they do not have. They don't encompass.
Not the fans. The players do. The fans don't.
So you're not even pieced up as an entire organization.
Sacramento too.
I said Sacramento earlier, bro. I said Sacramento earlier.
Crazy.
The light beam.
Crazy.
To the sky.
Crazy.
Sacramento is... Okay, let me ask you this. Since we kind of talked about dynasties, you think Sacramento could potentially... Are they in that dynasty stage?
They're baby warriors.
Baby warriors.
With the assistant coach that's the head coach that came from that also coached LeBron.
That's a crazy stat right there. That's crazy.
And was also under Popovich like Kerr was.
That's crazy homework. I forgot Kerr was up under Pop.
Mike Brown was too.
That made me think that Spoelstra, you should just be the videographer.
Bro, Spoelstra was under Pop.
He was under Pop too? I don't think he was under Pop, bro.
You gonna cut that out? Bud was under Pop. Kerr and Mike Brown.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Spoelstra came into the Miami Heat organization as a film guy.
He's the most underrated coach in NBA right now. Maybe in NBA history. Because he's been doing it for 4 years in a row. He's been doing it since the bubble.
Look at his starters right now. Undrafted. Dude.
Bro, it's the epitome of what I've been saying about Golden State. Miami's exemplifying it. Because they're doing it with undrafted players.
How many more years you give Golden State?
Depends on what moves they make in the offseason. Right now, they're regretting getting rid of Wiseman. Had they had Wiseman, the Lakers might have not made it that far. They could not deal with AD at all or Bron at all in the post. Looney,
yeah, it was too much.
Looney could just...
It's too much.
Yeah.
The rebounding.
And Looney went super crazy with the first game with the rebounds and shit. But, you know, the Lakers play front running basketball, so they try to steal game one from you on your court no matter what, which was smart. Which is one of the reasons why I think
Memphis.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm not a LeBron fan in any aspect. So I want to give him props when it's due.
You steady saying that on this.
I have to because it's like
you steady saying
his
that.
fans will call me a hater. So I want to give him props where it's due.
Steady shouting
One of the things that LeBron is great at is his cerebral approach, like a chess match towards whoever he's playing or wherever he feels his team is at, to propel them in a series towards a win. And this year it was still in game one on the opponent's court and taking a piece of their heart, but while expending all of what AD has in the first game so he can rest in the second game, and then he can come back and throw the kitchen sink at you again in game three.
So you really can't beat them. You really did a major analysis.
And if you can't beat them in game 1 or 3, you're losing the series. You only get 2 chances to win against this Lakers team this year. It's in game 1 or 3. If you don't win those games, you lose the series. And Denver won both, and it snatched the Lakers' soul. Once they won game 3, it was a sweep.
That's kind of what happened, bro. That's kind of what happened with So NHL playoffs are going on right now. Big Dallas fan from Dallas. Got to support them. The Stars are going against the Vegas Knights right now, Las Vegas Knights. And then on the eastern side, you got the Carolina Hurricanes going up against the Florida Panthers. Man, the Dallas Stars went down 3-0 quick. But if you think about it, if you just look at the box score, you just look at the final score, and you don't know hockey. And I'm just now getting into hockey, by the way. I'm going to have a hockey segment coming on here soon. Shout out to my boy Doc. He's going to be another special guest. Quick shout out to him. The thing about hockey is, bro, it's like the Stars, when they played the Knights in the first 2 games, both games went to overtime. Vegas is, of course, the higher seed, so Dallas was away. Both games went to overtime in Vegas. Both won both games off of just crazy golden goal type of finishes. So it's like you have 2 games like that where you're super close. You come back to Dallas for game 3. It's the playoff series is just like the NBA. You got 2-2, 1-1-1. You come back to Dallas for game 3, and it's like the fans are like, okay, bro, we went to double overtime. There's no way we're losing at home. We get killed, I think 4-1, 4-0 at home, game 3.
They went for the jugular.
Now you're down 3-0, and you're like, hockey is crazy though, because you could have 2 to 3 shots on. You could have 2 to 3 shots on goal, and the other team could have maybe 12 shots on goal, and you could have on that 4th shot a conversion and score, and they could still have like twice to 3 times as many shots in comparison to you. But now you up. So it's like hockey is something I definitely want to get into, but I think it's a good time.
Especially if Atlanta gets an expansion team.
Yes, up in Alpharetta, the suburbs.
We missed the Thrashers. We need a team back.
The Burbs. Y'all gonna thrash something like that?
Straight up.
You gonna get your little Thrashers uniform?
Oh, I'm gonna get me a house. Airbnb. Hit me.
Airbnb. Hit fresh. You know the hockey team, the Thrashers are the best. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about boxing, man. I shouted out this
Sweet Science.
I shouted this out in the last
the Sweet Science.
The last segment. You know, Fresh is actually not only a rapper, but he's also a boxer. So this is going to be a fun segment
Amateur
for us to
fights
talk about.
Coming near you.
Exactly. This is going to be a fun segment for us to talk about because he's going to give a little bit of an insight from a boxing perspective. And I think boxing actually right now is coming up as one of the more notable leagues that I think you should get involved with. Mm-hmm. You just had the Devin Haney-Lomachenko fight that we're going to discuss right after this.
Ryan and Tank.
And then you had the Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis fight about a month ago. I think it was in April. And it's like, you know, now you're kind of getting towards the 60s, 70s, 80s, Sugar Ray Leonard times where it's like you're watching heavy fights all the time. You're watching Marvin Hagler go out there and fight. People are literally looking for Mike Tyson to go fight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. People are paying to go see Ali lose. I think we're getting back to that stage. And I think it's good for just the sports frame in general. So
shout out to Ali grandson doing this thing.
Nico Ali, exactly. Was actually on the undercard for the Lomo Haney fight. But first and foremost, let me go ahead and ask you this, Fresh. What do you think are the top, maybe 1 to 2, if you can add a third in there if you need to, things that you need to be a legitimate boxer on the professional realm?
Cardio number 1.
Mm-hmm. I think cardio is
heart of a warrior number 2.
Okay.
Tied with number 2, dedication. It's a lonely sport. It's the loneliest sport in the world.
By yourself.
Being a martial artist.
I'm about to say mixed martial artist too.
Being a martial artist. a professional martial artist is the loneliest sport in the world because everything's up to you. Your trainers can show you, they can tell you what to do, but if you don't put your heart and your soul into it, you're not willing to learn. It's on you. Everything's on you.
A mistake is
discipline
all because of you.
Yeah, it's on you.
Fundamentally, all.
Your team's in the corner. You're in there fighting.
Okay, so you said cardio,
Mm-hmm.
and then you said discipline and dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a 2A and a 2B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, man, so let's go ahead and talk about the Lomachenko-Haney fight. Devin Haney came in holding, I think, all the major professional titles like the WBC, stuff like that. WBF, holding all the major titles. And Lomachenko came in, I think, with a one loss already. And
two losses.
Two losses. One was to Pitbull, huh?
No, one's the Tiafimo.
Tiafimo, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
Tiafimo. And he's fighting an undefeated Devin Haney.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Devin Haney's known to have a jab. Lomachenko comes out and says he's only got a jab, which is a great point. I'm good. I got him. What do you think as a boxer and as a boxing fan about the fight and why Devin Haney won while incorporating a left hook or just a hook in general? Was it a left hook?
It was a left uppercut. It was a right uppercut.
Right uppercut. And it was to the body?
Mm-hmm.
To the body. To the body.
I think it scored him enough points early, being the fact that he was
the champ.
Was the A side. And Lomachenko was the B side coming into the fight. When you're the A side, the B side has to take more from you than you give away.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the fight, the judges felt like Devin scored enough early points to retain his title.
Yeah. Yeah, because he definitely lost a couple rounds near that end.
A couple.
He definitely lost a couple
Lomo
rounds.
started schooling him. Lomo was schooling that boy.
What do you think about what Lomo said as far as the ending press conference? You see that? Where he just, what do you think about that?
I think it was a very classy and honorary thing, especially coming from the Ukraine. Shout out to the Ukraine and everybody that's at war right now.
Mm-hmm.
May God bless y'all and y'all families.
Amen, amen.
And Lomachenko for serving during the first part of the war.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes, he gave up. He gave up boxing and he went to serve for the first part of the war. But what do I think about it? I think that. What's the question?
What do you think about Lomachenko's end of the fight press conference? Or basically, I think they basically asked him about Devin Haney, and he neglected to comment on the whole Haney situation.
It was a very classy thing. He felt like he was robbed. But if you're a boxing fan, he kind of lost the fight the same way to Teofimo Lopez, where he got started a little bit too late.
Yeah, I think they hinted at that too. I think he
got started a little bit too late. And when you're somebody like Lomo, who's a points fighter, who has over 300 fights in the amateurs, 2 gold medals, you tend to think that you can outpoint somebody, but in professional boxing, politics come into play. You have to actually beat the champion. It's rare that you're going to outpoint him unless you masterclass them.
So you really just have to be an outright better fighter.
No, you have to knock him out. You got to knock him down. So all those strong punches you were hitting Haney with that he wasn't really hurt by.
So do you think, okay, let's tap into this. Do you think, because Shakur Stevenson was at the fight, was in the ring actually during the
Lomo was robbed. I do agree with Shakur.
Do you think Shakur Stevenson going up against Devin Haney, who would you take? Just
Shakur,
off of
easy.
Right now. Is Shakur lighter than that weight class?
He's a 130.
He's a 130, and that weight class is like a 135.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, I think he just got into 135.
He did.
Yeah,
I think that's why.
So he's currently at 135. He just climbed there.
So you're taking Shakur in that fight
easily?
Why?
He's one of the best in the world. He has everything.
What does he do that's so saucy?
It's just boxing. It's being hit and not getting hit.
Hit and not getting hit. Classic.
Great jab. Great cross. Great distance. Great head on his shoulders as far as being able to hit on the move and not getting hit when he doesn't need to get hit.
Stick and jab, move.
Great jab, great cross. Whereas Haney's jab was just great. He didn't really have a great cross. Shakur has a great cross. Shakur strikes like an arrow. He has a little bit more power in his jabs and his crosses than Haney does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Haney's known in the industry as a little bit being pillow-fisted, which is just hitting you to score points but not really hitting you, tapping you.
Mm-hmm.
Shakur ain't like that. But he ain't no Tank.
So that's what my next question. Tank Davis versus Shakur.
Tank's better than all of them.
You think Tank is the best?
Tank is the best.
But I feel like
Tank is the best at 135 and lower. Now
we had this conversation.
Tank gets up to 145 and he fight Crawford. He fight Spence. It's different.
We had this conversation.
I don't know if he's done.
We had this conversation about a year ago, and I asked you this, and a year ago, I think you said that Devin Haney was the number one guy that you felt like, and that Tank was coming up, but Devin Haney was that guy, and Shakur Stevenson was just kind of like an honorable mention.
Tank proved himself to me after Tank leaving Floyd and doing his own thing and winning all of his fights, and having that.
Floyd's still kind of there in his corner. I think that was more
still, but
stunt.
He's not under him, so there's no control.
Right.
So
it's just advice.
Tank's style is a mix between Canelo and Mayweather, and he throws not a lot of punches, very little, like Floyd in his later career, then hard punches like Canelo in his later career, in his prime of his later career, which is on a decline right now. But that's another story. But yeah.
So you think Gervonta is the best in the world? Tank Davis out of Baltimore.
I'll give you my top 5.
Let me ask you this. Give me your top 5, and then give me, since we were talking about highlight tapes earlier with Barry Sanders Jr. and Reuben Foster and whatnot, and Justin Jordan, go check him out. Second shout out to him. Give me your top 5 boxers right now, as well as who you think has the best highlights out of those
boxers. Okay, I would say my top 5 boxers. Number 1 is Tyson Fury. Number 2,
Deontay Wilder came out and said that he thinks Tyson Fury was cheating.
He said that 2 fights ago.
Okay, keep going. Tyson Fury number 1.
I got Tyson Fury number 1. I got Tank number 2. I got Spence number 3.
You said Tank number 2, Spence number 3. You think
Crawford number 4 or Crawford number 3, Spence number 4, and then Shakur number 5.
I got something that's gonna throw you for a loop. What's his name? Inoue.
Ooh, I forgot about the kid. Forgot about the kid. Okay, I'm sorry. The crowd. Inoue. I'm sorry. Hold on. Number 1 is Tyson Fury. Number 2 is Inoue. Number 3 is Tank. I'm sorry. Number 1 is Tyson Fury. Number 2 is Tank. Number 3 is Inoue. Number 4 and 5 is Crawford and Spence. Any way you want to put that.
You think Inoue is losing?
I think Inoue is the only boxer on the planet at Tank's weight that can make him lose. If Tank doesn't fight Inoue the right way, he loses.
Go check out his highlights. I'm not gonna lie.
If Tank doesn't fight Inoue, if he doesn't train, if Tank is not in a 4 to 6 month training camp, maybe even 8 to fight Inoue, he's losing. Inoue can, I wouldn't say deal with his power, but Inoue ain't getting knocked out by the first knockdown. Shout out to Ryan for getting up by being knocked down in the second round. Inoue's different. Everything Inoue throwing is hurting like what Tank throwing. Inoue is throwing atomic bombs that landed on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Sorry, Japan. That's what Inoue throwing.
I'm gonna be honest.
That's what Inoue throwing.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I know I asked you guys listening. I know I asked Fresh to name who has the best highlights out of those boxers. Inoue's highlights.
Inoue's highlights are the best out of all those.
When you brought him up the last time we had a discussion off pod, bro, his highlights are something crazy.
And he got heart. The first time he was ever hurt, he got his eye socket. He got his eye socket broken in the middle of the fight and still came back and won it. First time he was ever hurt, got heart.
It's just like John
Tank
Jones.
Tank ain't never been hurt.
He kind of hurt his hands against Rolly, huh?
He hurt his hands. That's self-inflicted. He ain't never had another boxer hurt him and have to fight wounded because he did you like that.
That's like John Jones winning a mixed martial artist bout with a broken toe, a toe that's perpendicular to how it's normally.
But nobody did that to him. He did it to himself. That's a different injury.
Okay.
When somebody do it to you,
that's still crazy though.
It's crazy, but it's nothing like somebody doing it to you and you beating them.
Sickening.
That's like Ryan coming back and beating Tank.
Sickening, bro. You want to talk about?
Inoue got hurt and came back and won. The dude hurt Inoue, broke his eye socket, knocked him down. I don't know if he knocked him down, but he hurt him. It was a real fight.
His eye socket.
Yes,
fam.
in a fight, and he won that fight.
He broke his. That means if it gets touched,
the doctor will take you out. Yes, and he won that fight. Anyways, Tank was in talks of winning that fight. Tank want that fight last. He don't want that. He better fight Shakur and he better fight Devin first. Then you go after Inoue.
He better make the money, is what you're saying.
Inoue is that Pacquiao, but he undefeated. Pacquiao already took losses. Inoue not gonna lose.
I don't think he's gonna.
Inoue only loses.
Inoue
only loses to Tank. He's better than Shakur. He's better than Devin. He knocks Devin the fuck out. Devin don't make it to the 12th. Shakur might get knocked out in the 10th. Inoue is strong. in every punch. Whereas Tank ain't strong in his jabs. Tank is strong in his hooks and his uppercuts. He gonna knock you out. Inoue is strong in his jabs, his crosses, his hooks, his uppercuts. Every punch he throws is deadly. It hurts you. Bad. Body knockouts. He don't just got one punch. He got every punch. He got a whole repertoire.
We can tell Fresh is very passionate. We're gonna ask Fresh to
Inoue
take it
different.
down. We're gonna ask Fresh to take it down a tone.
Inoue is different.
Fresh is definitely passionate. We actually out here on the porch, man, late night. We outside with it. Different perspective.
If Tank is smart, see, and this is, I want y'all
Chiming
to realize
in
this
on
too.
NOA.
I want y'all to realize this too as y'all become boxing fans. Boxing is the art of war. It's the art of war out of the ring and inside of the ring. If Tank is smart, he tries to outweight Inoue in the way Mayweather did Pacquiao. He don't try to fight him right now. He tries to keep fighting people that's good enough, that makes him more of the face of boxing and more into his Hall of Fame career before you fight Inoue. Because right now, to me, the race between Inoue and Tank is who stays in shape the longest. That's the difference between them.
How old is Inoue?
I'm not sure.
You know how old
I don't want to
Tank
quote
is?
that.
Tank's what, 28?
He's in his 20s. I don't want to quote that.
Let me see.
Inoue's dangerous.
He is, bro.
He's the number one hitman. Tank is not the number one hitman. Tank is a bigger name in the face of boxing right now because of the Western world. But Inoue is the number one hitman. He is the number one hitman. You do not want to fight him.
Inoue's 30 years old.
Inoue is the number one hitman in boxing. He will fold you and end your career and make you look sad. Everything he throws is with intention and it's gonna hurt. It's piercing power.
Steady coming at you.
It's Marvin Hagler power. Every punch, it will rock your soul. Whereas Tank is Tyson power. Every hook and every uppercut will rock your soul. His jabs and his crosses ain't gonna knock you out.
But them uppercuts are so
his uppercuts
vicious.
and his hooks are vicious and they will put you to sleep. But his crosses and his jabs won't. Where every punch Inoue throws can knock you out.
Oh, even a cross.
Yes, his
Even
cross.
the jab.
Even the jab.
Even the
Everything
jab?
hurts. Everything hurts.
Can you showcase for the viewers who are looking on what a jab is?
A jab is if you're a right hand fighter, it's your
Don't hit
lead
the mic
hand,
now.
which is your left hand. So that's a
just
cross.
straight.
So it's your straight left punch if you're a right hander, which Inoue is. I believe he's orthodox. If you're a southpaw, your jab would be your right hand leading. Your lead right hand, your jab. And if you're orthodox again, your cross would be your right hand straight punch. Everything Inoue throws is deadly.
I could see your cross.
Punches, Tank's jabs, and Tank is a southpaw. So Tank's jabs and Tank's crosses aren't deadly. You can survive those. You won't survive his uppercuts if he connects perfectly, and you won't survive his counterpunch hooks if he connects. Even not counterpunch, just his hooks if he, especially his leading. What does he lead with? His leading right hook or his left hook. It's really highly likely
vicious.
if he winds his punches on you, you won't survive. Which is why he throws the least amount of punches in boxing right now. He's knocking people out because he's gonna wait and want you to chase him. But Inoue is dangerous.
That's
Those punches that Tank takes from other fighters, he can't let Inoue hit him like that.
Because he's gonna be donezo.
Where all he had to do with Ryan is dodge his left jab, duck
Ryan was
underneath his
also
left
super
jab.
weight drained if you look at him.
Nah, Ryan was inexperienced. He just wasn't ready for Tank.
Look at his legs.
I look at his legs. He was drained, but no. You came in there. You chased Tank with one punch. You can't chase Tank with one punch.
He was also just setting himself up.
You kept
Tank
trying to land the
size,
left.
bro, we called
You
it.
kept trying to
Tank
land the
size
left
him
hook,
up.
and you kept throwing the left hook high. You never even threw the left hook low. You never changed it up. You were completely predictable. Inoue not coming in like that. You have to beat him. Everything. Tank gets hit by people that box the right way. Ryan's a left hook. He's trying to land the left hook eventually, no matter what else he
What
throws.
did you think of his trainer? What was it, Joey something or Gusa or Ryan's
Tank?
trainer? Ryan's trainer.
I don't think anything of him. Ryan isn't. You can't have more than one master.
Don't know his name.
Ryan has many masters. He just changed his trainers again.
He did.
I don't want to disrespect Ryan's name, but Ryan's a social media boxer. He's built on the love of the social fans. Where Tank and Inoue built that shit in the gym. They had to get wins. They had to be better than everybody else. Where Ryan was already loved. No disrespect to Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to him taking that fight and leading boxing in the right direction. Shout out to him. Which is why we have a Crawford Spence fight. Which is why we had a Devin Haney-Lomachenko fight. Shout out to him.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We're gonna have to clip that. Make sure we drop that and let everybody know that boxing is getting back to mainstream. NFL is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
OTA is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta Falcons, Bijan Robinson draft pick
Mm-hmm.
is looking pretty good from what we're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about some of the teams who actually had some of the worst off seasons, the Rams being a part of that conversation. Still think it's kind of crazy that
They're in a soft rebuild.
Still think this is kind of crazy though if you're the Rams and you are the reigning Super Bowl champs
Mm-hmm.
and you come out and have one of the worst seasons.
A lot of turnover.
Super turnover. You know, you think a repeat Super Bowl that you aren't expected to
Injuries.
win. Let me ask you. Okay, let me ask you this, especially from a fan. Do you think, in relation to football, do you think you'd rather be the team who was the underdog and not expected to win, or the team who, I think this is a common answer, or the team who was expected to win and had the pressure? And if you do win, it just certifies your
It depends on how I was built. If I'm the team that's expected to win and my foundation is Bill Belichick and the Patriots, I'll be them. If I'm a team that's expected to win and I don't really have any culture that's solidified, I don't want to be them.
Can't be.
If I'm the Ravens, I'm the Patriots, I'm the Cowboys, I'm the Steelers, I'm the Broncos, I'm the Seahawks. Back when they were in their heyday and I just won one, I want that.
Broncos, Super Bowl contenders?
Of course, they got Sean Payton.
Immediately. Connection with Russell Wilson.
Immediate.
Ooh.
He's that great. Second he leaves New Orleans, they go to the toilet. He's that good.
To the toilet. Deshaun Watson.
I think the Browns surprised a lot of people this year. I think we might have 4 teams make the playoffs in that division for the first time ever. If last year wasn't the first time with the NFC
Who's that?
East.
That's the Steelers?
If the Washington Redskins would have made it, which they should have, they would have been 4.
It would have been the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants.
The Redskins, the Commanders.
But that division with the Browns, you got the Ravens, the
Getting
Steelers, and
The Steelers are always capable of getting in on any
Cincinnati.
given year in Cincinnati. We might see the first time that all 4 get in.
Cincinnati's arguably a Super.
I say Cincinnati and the Ravens automatically get
You think
in.
Joe Burrow's a top 5 quarterback?
Of course. No
You think-
doubt.
You think his career is long?
Of course, no doubt. He came back from an ACL already.
You got a good point.
So did Deshaun Watson, so did Tom Brady. Shout out to them boys.
OTAs, man, getting started off fire. Gonna be super excited about that. Actually, coaching right now, high school football on the side. So
Shout
I'm
out to JJ, Coach JJ.
getting my mind right as far as formations, fundamentally sound, understanding the game, and looking at the game not like a fan, but as like an analyst. Excited to bring that to this pod, bro, and to get your commentation, because I really want to bring you back to the point where you're studying the Falcons. And I know Matty Ryan, I know they got rid of him. I know that hurt you, but Matty Ryan accepted a job working as an analyst.
Nice way to sneak that in there, but okay.
We want to get fresh back to studying the Falcons. We really do. Just like I studied the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a great debate. I think the Falcons are going to be terrible. I think the Dirty
Falcons
Birds
are going to win the division.
I think
Nice
the Dirty
setup,
Birds are
though.
going to be horrible.
Okay.
Always just like to talk trash in the city that I live in, because, I mean, what better place in Atlanta?
Because he's a Cowgirl fan, you know. how
It
it
don't
is.
matter. We make it to the playoffs.
We and lose. Okay.
Super Bowl, bro. 28-3.
No. Super Bowl 2018. When's the last time y'all even
Didn't
sniffed
you
a Super
didn't
Bowl?
you tell me? Didn't
When's
you
the
tell
last
me-
time y'all sniffed a Super Bowl?
Have y'all won a Super Bowl ever?
I was like 5 when y'all sniffed a Super Bowl. Shut up.
Didn't you tell me that you had season tickets the year that Atlanta went all the way to the Super Bowl?
Of course.
You had season tickets.
Of course. It's funny. Till Dak Prescott were injured season year after year, where Zeke leaves and y'all did nothing with him.
I think Zeke was an underrated player on the
He was
Cowboys.
underrated.
I'm gonna save that because that's a hot topic. I think we should have kept Zeke. That's a hot topic, but I'm a big Zeke fan, and also a running back. I think it's a good point. We go ahead and wrap it up. You got any more insight? Any more comments? Any more commentary you wanna throw in this bad boy?
Shout out to Fresh Fridays.
Shout out to Fresh Fridays, bro. We're gonna keep it consistent. Had to throw a little bit of a different scenery with the background on the porch, man.
We outside.
We outside. Summertime's on the way. Make sure you start getting your hot dogs and your burgers ready to grill, baby. It's summertime.
And your biddies too.
In the biddies. It's summertime. Get ready. Fresh is getting ready to drop a nice little
album. Day in the Life of a King, Chapter 1 coming soon.
So let's stay tuned, bro. Make sure you always stay blessed, stay safe, stay excited and loving life, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, you're tuning in on Spotify, you tuning in on TikTok or the Gram, we glad to have you. Appreciate you. Don't forget to leave a comment. We love interacting with the fans. And with that, it's a wrap, baby.
Deuces.